Imagine a bodybuilder, 260 pounds of muscle, strutting into a gym thinking he can take on anyone. No training, no technique, just raw strength. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? Well, that's exactly what happened when Bradley Martin, one of the biggest names in the fitness world, tried to step up to a real fighter. Spoiler: it didn't go as he planned. Today, we're diving into what happens when bodybuilders like Bradley try to take on professional MMA fighters. And let's just say it doesn't end well for them. Let's dive in. Bradley Martin. Confidence overload. Let's start with Bradley Martin, the 260-pound muscle machine who thinks his size alone makes him unbeatable in a fight. Bradley's been flexing on Instagram for years, claiming he could take on anyone just because he can lift a lot of weight. But here's the thing. Muscle doesn't automatically equal fight skills. Surprise! One of his most infamous moments came when he got into a little altercation with streamer stable Ronaldo. Ronaldo made the rookie mistake of taking Bradley's hat during training, and suddenly, it was like someone had stolen Bradley's entire life. He was 3 times Ronaldo's size, but instead of a fair fight, Bradley turned into an oversized toddler throwing punches like it was a tantrum.
Get my fucking hat.
Damn, actually?
Not exactly a victory, huh? But the real kicker came when Bradley tried to fight YouTuber Steve Will Do It. Bradley tried to chase Steve around the house, throwing glasses after a tossing incident. Steve hid behind his security guard while Bradley looked like he was ready to throw a temper tantrum. Awkward. You'd think this would have been a wake-up call, but Bradley just went on claiming he could destroy pro boxer Devin Haney in a street fight.
I'd beat the out of you in the street.
No,
fight.
I would kill you, bro.
Yeah,
I would kill you. I would kill you, bro.
God, I love it.
No, like for
you
real,
think
for real.
at your weight. What's your okay?
Spoiler alert. That didn't go over too well. Then came the podcast with Nate Diaz, where Bradley boldly claimed he could beat Nate in a street fight. Nate didn't miss a beat, shooting him down faster than Bradley could flex.
You think you beat me in a street fight?
Huh?
You think you beat me in a street fight?
You in a street fight?
Yeah.
You're a podcaster, brother.
I love it.
Honestly, Bradley needed a huge lesson in humility, and Nate was more than happy to deliver it. Bradley versus Black Belt BJJ. Next up, Bradley decided to really put his skills to the test by grappling with a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, if you thought muscle was going to win this battle, let me tell you, this was the moment Bradley learned that muscle doesn't exactly help when someone wraps you up like a Christmas present. Within minutes, the black belt had Bradley in a chokehold, and Bradley looked more confused than a cat at a dog park. The bodybuilder's massive biceps didn't save him from getting humiliated in front of his own camera. His size wasn't the superpower he thought it was. It was more like a handicap. If you've ever wondered what happens when a muscle-bound guy meets someone who actually knows how to fight, this is it. Spoiler alert. The guy who knows what he's doing wins every time. Muscle can't submit you out of a hold, my friend. Rambo Cuss. Another overconfident bodybuilder. Now, let's talk about Rambo Cuss, a bodybuilder who thought he could stroll into a jiu-jitsu gym and just muscle his way through. Rambo, clearly thinking he was auditioning for Strongman vs. the World, entered a gym ready to take on an instructor. What happened next was less strongman and more weak man. In less than 10 seconds, Rambo found himself on the floor. Crying for a timeout like a toddler who's had their snack stolen. Rambo quickly learned that lifting a car doesn't translate into fighting a skilled grappler. When he stormed out of that gym, his ego was more bruised than his body. Rambo should have added "respect the fighters" to his workout routine. Lesson learned. Fighting isn't about how much you can bench, it's about how fast you can tap out. Rambo versus Alan Green. Knockout in seconds. But wait, there's more. Rambo's fight with pro boxer Alan Green was like watching a freight train hit a toddler's toy car. The fight lasted all of 15 seconds. Enough time for Rambo to get a busted nose and a whole lot of embarrassment. His face turned into a blood fountain, and not the cool kind you see in action movies. Even after being knocked down, Rambo tried to get back up like a stubborn kid who refuses to admit they're wrong. It didn't end well. He was knocked out again, this time with his pride shattered on the canvas. Rambo quickly learned that no amount of muscle can withstand the power of a skilled boxer. The real lesson here? Don't challenge a pro boxer when your idea of training is flexing in the mirror. Will Tennyson versus Francis Ngannou, the ultimate strength test. Then we've got Will Tennyson, a fitness guy with muscles to spare, who decided to train with Francis Ngannou, the real predator of the MMA world. Francis is a beast, 280 pounds of pure muscle and raw power, while Will, well, let's just say Will has some muscles, but nothing compared to what Francis is packing. When Will faced off against Francis, it was like watching a mouse try to challenge an elephant. Will took a few punches from Francis, at only 10% of Francis's full strength, and immediately regretted every decision he'd ever made in his life. Will learned that it's one thing to be big, but it's another thing entirely to fight someone who's trained to destroy.
How easy it would be to fall for you.
Once more, right?
Yeah, we'll come in the fourth round.
Will was gasping for air after just a few minutes of training, while Francis barely broke a sweat. At the end of it all, Will realized that MMA isn't about flexing your muscles. It's about having the power, skill, and stamina to last in the ring. And let's be honest, if you're feeling winded after a warm-up, it's probably not going to go well for you in the actual fight. Mariusz Pudzianowski, the strongman who learned the hard way. Finally, we have Mariusz Pudzianowski, five-time world's strongest man. Mariusz is an absolute monster when it comes to lifting heavy stuff. But when he stepped into the ring with UFC fighter Tim Sylvia, it became clear that strength alone wasn't going to cut it. Mariusz tried to rely on his sheer power, but Tim's speed and technique were too much. Mariusz's leg kicks were bouncing off Tim like a soft breeze on a summer day. By the time Mariusz went to the ground, it was clear that his muscles were more of a hindrance than a help.
W tej chwili chce znokautować Pudziana. Dobrze by było, żeby Pudzian wyrwał, ale to on jest obalony i Sylwia z góry. To może być początek końca.
He was exhausted, and Tim finished him off with ease. Mariusz might have been strong enough to lift a house, but in MMA, it's all about the fight, not the strength. So, what happens when bodybuilders try to take on real fighters? Well, they get knocked down hard. Whether it's Bradley Martin, Rambo Cuss, or Mariusz Pudzianowski, these muscle-bound guys quickly learned that strength is only part of the equation when it comes to fighting. Real fighters, with their skill, technique, and experience, are on a whole different level. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more awesome content like this. Stay strong, stay humble, and remember, real fighting isn't about size, it's about skill. Catch you in the next one.